Hello and welcome along to the Anatomy of a Mix. Today we're going to show you how we put together Grandmaster Party 11. We're in Studio 2 of the Music Factory Entertainment Group, and that is the home of Master Mix producer John Hitchin.
Hiya.
So without further ado, let's show you how we did it. Grandmaster Party 11. Right, okay, here we are then with John Hitchin, producer of Grandmaster Party 11. You can see on the screen now the component parts. What you've got is the full mix here. And if we just very quickly just scan across, John, we can start with track 1. And what we've got here is a 25-track mix. Before we start any production, myself and John will sit down, we'll track list 30 to 40 tracks. Yep. And then decide on the 25 that are going to work best. So in this case, we've kicked the mix off with the Nolans, I'm in the Mood for Dancing, and it goes into Dexys Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen. So perhaps we can just very quickly just show that little part of that mix out of Nolans into Dexys. Okay, so what you've got a nice start to the mix, big floor filling track Nolans, into Dexys Midnight Runners, smooth mix, some clever tip mix techniques which John will guide you through in just a moment's time. Let's just very quickly scan through the whole mix, John. You can see the tracks here. Come On Eileen now goes into a mashup, which is S Club 7 versus Michael Jackson. So we'll listen to this mix now. John, you've got an exclusive mashup here which you've put together, something a bit different. Just tell us very quickly about a mashup before we progress.
A mashup is basically two tracks using elements of both, mixed together, edited cleverly, chopping them around just to make them a little bit more interesting and taken away from the original recording while keeping enough of the original concept. And we can take you through the original parts of how this was produced using the different channels that we have here. Okay,
so we're in the first section of the mix. We've gone from Nolans into Dexys, two single tracks. We're now into the third track in the mix, which is this mashup, S Club 7, Don't Stop Moving, Billie Jean, Michael Jackson. What you can see on screen are the various tracks and how John's laid them out. So for anybody who's not familiar with a mashup, John, you can guide us through and exactly how you put this together.
Yeah, what we've got here at the minute, we've highlighted the track with the Billie Jean a cappella on it, which is chopped into sections, beat by beat, so you get this with a delayed effect on it as well. Which was then laid under the backbeat, so we'll just drop that in over the top again. We had to pitch up the Michael Jackson track by 50 Cent so it key matched the S Club 7 track, and there was no key clashing going off. So we can show you that, and then we come to this little section here, which was the S Club 7 section rendered before the Michael Jackson a cappella was added. And now we have the Michael Jackson backing. This has been rendered one bar at a time, and each separate beats had to be synced up because Michael Jackson, as you know, the track was played freehand rather than using computerised drums and whatever. And we sync it up manually beat by beat.
So for anybody who's watching this and has either bought Grandmaster Party 11 or another Grandmaster, what this is showing is that even though it's a relatively simple sounding mashup, actually to put it together technically it took a lot more work than is actually, you know, at first.
Yeah, it probably takes as long as it would to do an average 4 or 5 track mix. You've got to edit the full track.
And the most important thing as well with these Grandmasters, as you well know, for those of you who use Grandmasters on a regular basis, is the party ones especially, these are floor filling mixers, so it's important that we produce these not only from a technical side of things, so that it's technically brilliant, which it always is, and you would expect that, but also from a DJ side of things, so that the DJ is comfortable to play it, and most importantly that the person on the dance floor is not thrown out by a link that maybe is off time, out of key. And what we've done now, you can see on the screen, we've moved slightly further into the mix. In this case, we're going from Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl into Chris Montez Let's Dance. So let's have a listen to the link, and then John, you can guide us through it.
For a start, we've had with the Chris Montez track, you've got the bare percussion at the intro, which is really handy for mixing between one track and another, because it's easier to key match everything up. We just use the natural intro of Chris Montez over the end of Van Morrison. And then after the first 4 bars, we key change the Van Morrison outro so that bass line is in key with the intro to Let's Dance.
And what would happen to the mix, John, if you hadn't done that technique? You've gone from Van Morrison into Chris Montez. If you hadn't key changed the Van Morrison part, what would have? How would that link have been affected?
The bass line would have been clashing with the Let's Dance, and it would have just sounded like a DJ trying to mix it live and not done it properly.